Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have another marine ECM test and possibly a repair coming from Massachusetts, Michael Gardner. Let me get the paperwork. Yeah, Michael Gardner from Massachusetts. He says no star, no signal to injectors. As I normally do, I have all prepared and ready to go. So this is the computer connected. I have a load box in here, which will act as the load for coils and injectors. In this case, it's it's a 7.4 actually, but that means it uses a distributor, so it's only one signal for the ignition module and then the rest. And here I got the oscilloscope connected to see the signals on the two injector drivers based on his concern. I have also the fuel pump relay and a test light instead of the fuel pump. Remember, the computer controls just a relay, so the lighting in there is just for the load to make sure that we see when it turns on and off, right? And I have the ignition module connected in there, etc., right? That is the simulator, which I use to inject the signals. That is the Mark 50 from Venezuela. It's actually been working really, really good. I'm very happy with that tool. They have a new one, the Mark 70. It's just, I think it's a little too high of a price for what the tool is. They want almost $1,000 for, and realistically, I mean, with all the respect of putting something like this together takes, it is a very basic Arduino board, so I don't really understand where they're actually going into their mind now with $1,000, because realistically, for that kind of price, I might even start building it myself. I gave them some ideas about, extending, and I think they now have I think it's 12 injectors and 12 coils, which is good. That's what, need. I mean, you need at least 8. But, having in this case, I think it's 6 injectors and only 2 coils. It is a little short, but that is a thing for another video. That is just the simulator, which is good. I like it a lot. That wasn't non cheap. I think I paid $750 for that, which I just did it to support and help a company in a country that is being oppressed for so many years, right? But yeah, I think it's a little too pricey. All right, let me get into the folder so I can show you that information. All right, this is the folder I have. This is the computer, so you can get to see as well. This is the part number on the computer. I always take a picture because the family of the computer is 12575479. That dash 2, it looks like somebody put that because that does not exist. And that is a MEFI 4. And the digits are unique. Is this all digits on the bottom started with a number 8 or are very unique. The first, I think, 3, 6, 8 numbers, they're always there, but the 41760494 are very unique to this module. So that's very I like to keep it because no other module can have that number. He sent me a picture of the pin out, the pins, to see, make sure the connectors, because it looks like it's a little rusty, but I mean that's just externally. These are very, very sealed, very good. Let's take a look of the note in here. It says no star, no injectors, or no signal to injectors. He also sent me an email, and that's why he put, I like I have the pictures of the, the module there. It says, Mike, I was told that my injectors are not getting a signal from the ECM. Engine will not start. Cylinders were found to be dry. Fuel pump primes, no beep. Is this something that you will look at? If so, what do you charge for the service? Thank you, Mike Gardner. All right, so let's, without further ado, let's go into the test, right? So right now I have that in there. So let me put the diagram. Actually, yeah, let's start with just, well, I need both because otherwise you wouldn't be able to see if the injectors are fire. So let me get those. I have actually, give me 1 second, guys, to resize the 2 windows that I was going to show you here. This is a stack again. Let me change the picoscope 1 second, guys. Right now I have both windows in there. The bottom is the oscilloscope, which I changed over to the 4425, not the 4425A. For some reason it was stuck in there. And I'm doing it a couple of times. It might be the cable that I'm using. All right, so let's try to connect. The reason I'm putting you in there is because you will see when I turn the ignition on, I have the battery voltage on, but then ignition, we have fuel pump, and it should prime, and it goes off, so that's actually a good sign. Let's establish communication. I'm using Diacom Rinda. Make sure you can see the pop-up as well. Okay, that one is at least showing. Just raising it a little bit, making it a little smaller. You can get to see because that is the pop-up when I am just established communication, right? So I'm going to select MEFI 124. This is a MEFI 4. This should connect very quickly, and it did. So I select always module mode 1. Just to show you a few things. The calibration, yep, it's a BA99. That's a checksum specifically for D7.4. We can see that it's indeed a 7.4 liters. I don't have information as far as if it's a Cruiser is Volvo Penta or what this is. But for my testing here, it's not really important. Looks like we have two trouble codes. Let's see what we got there. This EST fault code I'm going to disregard because I think I have probably the wrong ignition module, even though it will run and it will work for my test on the coil, which is fine, and we don't have any concerns on that, right? But the manifold pressure sensor voltage low, that is a little concerning because I am sure my manifold pressure is reading properly. And let me just find it because there's so many pits in here. Inches of mercury right here. So we have, as you see, 12.8 inches of mercury. I'm going to change that value. And you can see how I can change it as I please in here. And that is normal. The next thing that you can see from that distance is that green light. And right here where I'm moving my hand, that green light is the sensor ground, and the other one, kind of like orange little light that you see there, that's a 5-volt reference circuit. So this, it has a light specifically for 5 volts, and it will not light up unless it's 5 volts. So that means that 5 volts and sensor ground are present. That's all that manifold pressure sensor needs, and then the signal, actually, of course, the computer reads, but as we can see, we have it. Throttle position, I have 0%, and I'm around 0.9 volts. So I can raise that a little bit just to get a little bit like a 0.8%, just, for the sake of that. That will change the desired idle. I got 0.8. If I go down to 0, you see how it's going to 630. Right there is 0. It goes to 600 RPM because it will allow the IAC to control the idle. When you have a little bit of a throttle, like even right there, I'm in like, well, that's a 1%. I went like too much. Like 0.4, you can see it's adding 0.3 of RPM. Desire, right? That's desire. Let's run this and see if it runs, which most likely will here because this is a very controlled environment. All right, now I'm providing the signal for everything. Let's see what we got here. So we got 665 RPMs. Let's see if we can erase the fault code. Again, I think that the EST fault code will stay. Let me erase the fault codes. Yeah, it is just, I have the wrong ignition module. Again, it's not a problem for what I'm testing in here. But I can definitely see a problem on the injectors. And you might not be able to notice it at that distance, so I'm going to move the view over to here. What I want you to see here is, you see how nice and bright when I'm covering with my hand in here is that blue light? That's the coil. And next to it, it should be two nice and bright, not as bright as the blue, but two green lights for the injectors. Why is the light not bright? Because it's not being pulled completely to ground, so it's not grounding that light. So it's just very dim, like it is happening, but not enough for a light and not enough for an injector. So that's definitely, I am 100% sure now that we do have a problem with the computer. Let me get to here. I'm going to take those views out of the screen, so we can get to see the entire view. But now that we have here, I'm going to just reposition this a little bit, and I'm going to move the cursors over to the two signals. So right now I'm in just the blue one. The one line is at the upper part of that blue line, and the other one obviously to the whatever pulls down. It's only pulling to 10.5 volts from 13.2 volts, which is battery voltage now, to 10 volts. So that is not enough to pull an injector open, and it does have a small spike that pulls almost to 7.9, which is still no good. Only in this one. If we go over to the red channel, let's say again, just by the eye in there, we are pretty much seeing the same thing. No spike in that one. I can do a zoom into this blue one so you can get to see, because that's the nice thing about the oscilloscope, that we can actually zoom in very, very fast or very accurate to a signal. But yeah, this is definitely, Michael, your problem is 100% the computer, no doubt about it. I'm not sure why that one's selected, because I didn't select it on, but yeah, definitely. So let me open the computer, guys, and perform the repairs, and I'll be right back with hopefully a good repair module. But yeah, communication and everything is working good. Let's actually, increase the RPMs a little bit. I'm going to put the RPMs in here. You're going to see as I increase the RPM that we get more of those injector signals on the screen, but again, they stay in the same amplitude. They're not changing, so no change whatsoever, even if I increase the RPM. So the computer is reading the crankshaft sensor, no problem, but it's not being able to pull the drivers, not able to pull the injector fully open, and that will definitely never open on the vehicle. All right, I'll be right back, guys. All right, guys, I have the computer fixed. I spoke to Mike, and he approved the repair, so everything is good to go. So let's do the test after. Actually, might be a very good view here. Let me just see when I turn this on. Yeah, you can see the fuel pump. Oh, but you cannot see the injectors or anything in here, so this is probably the best thing. Let's run it first without the... well, I can actually put everything. Let me just take it back and... But it's going to look a little cut because it's not in the full view. But let me connect to the computer. All right, so we're going to do the same thing. This is going to detect the computer mode 1, and now I am connected. All right, so everything is good in there, and let's run it. All right, so something is not showing on that view of the microphone. I mean, gotta be the connection on the USB because there's no power. You gotta reselect the oscilloscope, so give me 1 second. But I hope you can see already the difference in here. You see how nice and bright those green lights are? Before they were really, really dim. They were not working properly. So let me take you over to the actual desktop so you can get a better view of what I'm doing. Yeah, it is. It's still not showing. Not available. Not sure why, because it's there. Let me reopen the software. Gotta be something with the software in Pico, because that is a USB-A, but it's a blue one, so it's the one that has good good voltage. I'm going to change the position just because of what happens in here. Let me take the trigger off so you can see there is actually indeed moving, because the trigger stops the signal, but we can definitely see now a huge difference. I'm going to put, the same cursors that we had before. And now it's going from battery voltage 13.2 to 0.0006. Let's do the same thing on the red channel. And we will be seeing pretty much the same. It's a little hard to do it with the signal moving, but you can see right now we got 13 to 0, 13 to 100, and this is just because I'm doing it, with the naked eye and the signal moving, but everything is working as it's supposed to. We don't need to get that like a weird view in there. Yeah. All right, so let me select pit so you can see that indeed I have 686 RPMs. I can put them anywhere. This is the same 7.4 liters and the same calibration. I forgot to show the hours. This actually has very low hours, 156.6 hours. So this is a really good module. Even though it looks rusted, it just stopped the signal on the oscilloscope. Something is going on with that thing. I just lost the voltage again. See, it's nothing to do with the actual computer running. I can see the light in the oscilloscope. It stopped blinking. It stops blinking. You're not seeing me in there. So yeah, we had 156.6 hours. So everything is working really good. I'm going to increase the RPMs to make sure that the signal stays in the same amplitude. You will see the RPMs on your bottom left corner in there. Right now in 2000, it's going to increase the RPMs just to go onto the all spectrum. You can see that we are now getting a ton of injectors activations because obviously it's 4,000 RPMs, but the signals are staying in the amplitude the same. So everything is good to go, Michael. Your computer is fully repaired, working as it's supposed to. And again, we only have one trouble code, and that's just because of the ignition module that I'm using. That's it. All right, guys. It's again not such a long video, hopefully, but you can see that I can definitely work in these computers and fix it. Not a problem. If you have any automotive or marine computers, instrument clusters, just look for my website, MikeSalazarDiagnostics.com. It's the same name as in the YouTube channel. Just add the .com and you find me. Otherwise, I'll put them on the title of the video. You can copy that portion and then paste it onto your browser, and you will find me instantly. If you look for Mike, my name is spelled very different. M-A-I-C, Salazar. I got to be the first one to show anywhere. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Bye-bye.